Maybe. I'm going live now.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our chat with today. We've got Karen Williams from Play Australia, who's going to be talking to us about all sorts of things, including the importance of play and some of the work they've been doing in this space. But before we begin or continue any further, I'd like to acknowledge Australia's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, the traditional custodians of the lands, waterways and skies across Australia from where you're listening from. For me today, that's the lands of the Wurundjeri people. I would like to also pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to other Aboriginal people listening in today from the countries that you're listening in from today. So diving straight into things, we've got, as I said, we've got Karen Williams from Play Australia here today, and I'm going to hand over to Karen to take us through a little bit of who she is and what Play Australia is and what they do. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you very much, Alice, and it's just fabulous to be here today. And I'm actually on the land of the Dja Dja Wurrung people up in Trentham in Victoria, so very proud to be coming from here today. And I love talking about play. I'm really fortunate to have been with Play Australia a couple of times in my working career, actually. And this is, I was actually at Play Australia when my children were around 8 and 12. And I'm really pleased to say it changed the way I thought about play. And it changed the way that I started to play with my children and how I played as an adult. So it's really quite, I can truly say it's changed my life and my children's play life.
Yeah, I have to say that being part of Parents' Voice has done a similar thing for my own parenting. You can't help but absorb and utilize all the information that you're exposed to every day about play. And for Parents' Voice, it's also about food and nutrition and other types of physical activity. So yes. I can imagine that being part of Play Australia did change how you interacted with your kids in that way.
Yeah, and even as the older I get, and we all get older, we can't help it, I still question how I play every day. You know, we think that play is something for kids. It's not. There's still the child in all of us, and that sounds really fluffy, but it's true. And I think if we're going to be good role models for our children, we need to find that inner child and still get out there and play ourselves as adults. It's really important.
Absolutely. And I think that's been, it's been a big feature of some of the campaigns in recent years to encourage adults to find the type of activity, like Play Like a Girl and similar things, to find that physical activity that you love and enjoy, rather than thinking about it as exercise and as, just kind of, if you find something that's physical or creative that, motivates you from that joy perspective, you're going to be much more likely to do it regularly.
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting, I think, and look, lockdown, COVID comes into any conversation we have these days. And I have to say, in some ways, lockdown encouraged me to get outside more. As bizarre as that is, we're locked in, but it's actually made me much more aware of the importance of being out and getting outside. If it's walking a street, as long as there's sun on your face, or not even sun, rain on your face, just that being outside, it changes your brain. There is no doubt about it. And it's so important. And if I know that, and it's even more important for kids.
Yep, absolutely. Excellent. So can you tell us a bit about Play Australia?
I'd love to. And I'm actually going to share just some information with you as well.
Let's go for it.
And Play Australia, we say we're proudly promoting the value of play and supporting all Australians to play every day. How simple does that sound? It really is a very simple pledge, but it's something that's really important to us. We have a hashtag and we talk about play today. And if ever I talk about play today, it's about play today every day outdoors. I think that's something that's really important to Play Australia as well.
Yep.
In Play Australia, we've been around for 105 years. We're 105 years young, and we're an advocacy organisation, but we also are a membership-based organisation, and we supply and provide a lot of advice to industry members. So a lot of our members are local councils, they could be landscape architects, a lot of early childhood education centres, anyone who is responsible or providing play of sorts. But so we encourage and provide inspiration, advice, information, and professional services to our members. But we do care about, it's all about the health and well-being of Australians, to recognise the importance of embedding play into everyone's daily lives. And that's really important because that can create better outcomes for life for our kids. But something that's really close and important to Play Australia as well, we're the Australian branch of the International Play Association. And the IPA was instrumental in the Article 31 for United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which is the right for every child to play, that every child has the right to rest, leisure, to engage in play, recreational activities appropriate to their age, and to participate freely in cultural life and the arts. That's huge. That's every child has the right to play. And but I think what we get caught up in these days is, what is play? I think we're so hooked into the experts telling us what is play. What have we got to do now? What's the latest thing that a parent has to feel guilty about? Are they playing enough? What do our kids need to be smart and successful? But it's actually really simple. If we allow our children to play, which I'll talk a little bit more about, what do we like play to look like? But play for life, it's about health and movement. Play is about being happy and having fun. Play, but while you're doing those really simple things, play builds brains. A child sitting with a mud pie is actually building a child's brain. Even by climbing a tree, they're learning. Creating language skills, creativity, and it can actually calm them. It builds confidence. A child learning to climb a tree, to swing on the monkey bars, to run and fall over, to get back up and dust themselves off. That's about growing a child's confidence. It's about motivating them. It's about creating how to solve a problem. Where's my hand go on that branch? If I put my foot here, they know how to get to the top. They'll learn how to get to the top, but they won't if there's someone at the bottom saying, put your hand here, put your hand there. Oh no, don't fall. It's not about that.
I'm very much a don't fall parent, and I have to try very hard not to say that, because I know it's not helping,
So hard. I've bit my tongue off so many times.
So I'm often the parent. I'm the parent at the park that looks a bit disinterested, because otherwise, if I'm actively supervising, I'm actively intervening, and it doesn't actually help them.
It is so hard not to do that, and it almost is. We've created that bit of a cotton wool child. You've heard that helicopter child, the helicopter parent. They are hanging over them all the time. They can't build that resilience and independence unless we allow them to fall over, unless we allow them to figure it out for themselves. And that unsupervised play is a way that children do that. And interesting, being in a park, you were saying, and it's it's about connecting communities as well. How many parents and caregivers have created connections with other parents and caregivers through play, and particularly in your local neighbourhood, on your street, in your local park. And I'm going to talk a bit about playing on streets, taking back our streets. It's nowhere written that says that streets are just for cars. But it's about if you can create that connection with your community, you're creating a sense of safety for children so that they know who they can go to, where they feel they belong, where they create those friendships, and creating that sense of community well-being as well. This is what is play? Is it just another thing we have to do? Is it another thing we have to add into their schedule? Our children are very busy. My kids were busy. I put these things down because my kids went to swimming. They did ballet. They did tennis. We had to have play dates. They played school sports, but that, yes, is that playing? Yes, it is. But that is what is, we want to talk about independent play, this play here, where it's actually child-led. That's when we talk about play. Yes, there's supervised play, and yes, there's facilitated play, and then there's organised play. But when Play Australia talks about play, we really want to focus on this independent play, which is where those other abilities come from, of creating children with independence and resilience and creativity. That's where we want to concentrate. We do have a problem. We're not supposed to say problem. We've got a challenge, but there is a problem. In Australia, our children as a whole, aren't doing that well. They're not doing as well as previous generations of our generation. 1 in 4 children are not at a healthy weight. This is an issue. 1 in 7 children are experiencing a mental health condition. 1 in 7. And it's going up. Again, we're starting to get some research and information out of the COVID lockdown situation for children's mental health and well-being. And we've got some work to do. And it's now more than ever, we have to deal with the research and what we know. This is happening now. So how do we change it? We need to change it. Our children's health and well-being depends on it. And I think we do have to say, we've got to make some changes. And it's not just children, adults. 2 in 3 adults are not at a healthy weight. 60% of adults do less than the recommended 30 minutes per day. These are for our health and well-being. 20% of adults, Australian adults, are also estimated to have a mental or behavioural condition. Why are these things happening? And there's lots of answers, and there's lots of ponderance, and there's lots of research about this. But for children, we know that some of their issues are coming from that sedentary lifestyle. Their lives have changed. When we were kids, I don't know about you, Alice, where did you play when you were a kid?
So I did spend a lot of time out in the backyard. We had a small little backyard. I grew up in an inner city Melbourne suburb. And I was the picture earlier on in the presentation where you had the mud pie. I could just imagine the look of joy on that kid's face, and I was a similar sort of child, lots of very tactile. But I did have a very good friend who lived around the corner, and we would spend many hours on our bikes from the age of about 10, cycling around. And it's
Yeah.
very different from my 11-year-old now.
Yes.
You know, he
Very
doesn't even
different.
walk around the block by himself at the moment. And that's one of it's his choice, but it's also guided by our parental fear as much as I try to let go of it.
Yes.
You know?
It's very hard to let go of it. And I think it comes more from our parent and caregiver insecurities and this fear that's been created and generated. We are media driven, and so if there's ever an incident with a child, an accident, something awful, it's always out there, and so it takes us over, and we don't want our children to be hurt. We want to protect them. And of course we do. I still protect my children, and they're adults living their own lives. But it's something that we do need to learn something from our past and bring it back.
Yeah.
Children are no longer, we feel like quite often that they've got to be entertained all the time. We used to take our kids out for dinner and we'd talk to them at the table from when they were babies. They sat with us and they talked. Now we've got phones and tablets, and when kids come home from school, yes, there's the screen time. There's the tablets, their homework's on screen. We build houses now. We don't build a backyard. We take up every square inch of that block and we put in a theatre room. Things are changing. Things have changed dramatically. And we have to accept that and say, well, how do we turn it back a bit? Why don't we let our kids ride their bikes to school? Let's mentor them. Let's show them how to do it. Let's ride the bike first with them. Let's show them the route, how to get there. Let's tell them where they need to stop. Let's let them walk to school. My goodness.
Yep. Definitely. Well, and my two children are very different. When my youngest started school, she was like, so I'll walk tomorrow by myself. Like on her first day, she was like, I'll be walking to school. Meanwhile, my oldest just said, can you walk with us? Can you walk with me? I'm not comfortable doing it by myself.
And that's true. You do have to listen to, and we do need to listen to our children and take cues from them as well. But we also have to mentor them and say, well, I'll walk with you. I'll come with you. I could do with a walk. Yeah. I think we think that they have to go to a playground. No, we can find a patch of grass, find somewhere where there's the water puddle, find somewhere where they can hang upside down and climb a tree. These are, let kids get dirty. Let them do the mud piling, get mud under their fingers, because the worst thing that happens is that you're going to have to wash it off. We need to simplify our children's lives and give them back some of that independence that does build resilience. And risky play is really important. Taking risks, letting them. I keep going back to the tree. I don't know, because for me, that we always had this tree on our walk when they were little, and it's those simple activities, but and truly allowing them to get dirty, to have fun, to create. When you go to a park and or to a nature park, or to a forest or a reserve, there you often see just logs lying around now. And we've seen in bush kinder type experiences as well, that log becomes a car, that log becomes a truck, that log needs to be moved, so I need to get someone else to come and help me lift it. That log, they'll sit on it and create a steering wheel with sticks. It's that creativity and saying, go, child-led, let me investigate. Yes, you're there to supervise, to catch them, to follow them and make sure everything's okay. But, it's really about giving them that opportunity to do what they want to do. and learn and imagine and create.
Definitely. And I know from watching my own children that risk-based play has allowed, particularly the younger one who's a bit more risky in her behavior, but it's allowed her to establish her own sort of boundaries and also have an understanding of when she needs help,
Yes.
because she knows that if she falls over, she can actually assess now, how injured am I? Do I need a hug in this moment or am I fine? And it's that risk-based play and giving her the space to kind of have those experiences that allows her to then, to develop that independence.
Oh, for sure. And it is about physical activity too. Our bodies are changing from sedentary behavior, and children's bodies have changed as well. And that's what those issues about healthy weight and mental illness and conditions are. If you are outside, as we said at the start, for me, if I go outside every day, even if it's 20 minutes to walk down the street, I'm really lucky in Trentham. I've got a local park. I can go through the bush, and I know I'm lucky and I make the most of it. I'm really grateful. But that 20 minutes clears my head. And as a parent, you can give your child that physical activity at the same time you're giving it to yourself and you're clearing your head. One of the things we said in lockdown and is, you have that saying, your kids are bouncing off the walls. Well, then take the walls away. Just go outside, draw on the footpath with chalk if you haven't got a park nearby. But these things change the way we think and behave. And if it does it for me and it did it for my kids, it's just so important. Alice, I wanted to show you, if I could, just to finish off, I guess, for me, is talk a little bit about our Play Streets program.
Yeah, before you dive into it,
Yes.
I just want to remind parents that they can ask any questions in the comments on Facebook, and we'll leave a couple of minutes at the end to answer any questions that have come up. So think about them now and start putting them in, and they'll come through to us. But let's dive into Play Streets.
Yeah, I guess Play Streets for us is one of the ways to do a practical implementation of what we're talking about. And we were saying, as kids we played on the streets. As kids we were on bikes and didn't come home until sunset. It's about connecting with our neighbours again and creating that sense of security. In some ways, we're not suggesting that parents do it themselves. They can, but we've actually created what we're calling a toolkit for local councils to do this in their local communities. Take the work off the people. The council's responsibilities to us as residents and taxpayers and ratepayers is to provide opportunities for connection for families and to create active and physical activity for parents and children and adults and older people, all of us. So they have a commitment to do that. So we wanted to work with local councils to create this. But something you can do is talk to your local council about it. Say to them, oh, have you heard about this? And on our website, it's quite obvious where it is. But I just want to finish with a little video that talks a bit about play streets that create healthy children, that create healthy communities. Here, let's go. I'll say no more.
I'm mostly here today to make new friends and socialise. A lot of our generation are looking at their screens too much, and it's nice to be able to just play outside and have a bit of fun.
I'd like the streets blocked off more often so more kids can get outside and play on the streets, like skipping or road soccer or riding their bikes around.
I'd say the best thing about blocking off the streets is just the lack of having to worry about cars and just being able to do whatever you want.
Children have a right to play every single day, and play is so important for their healthy development. Play Streets supports children to find new spaces to play. So we need to appreciate that not all children have access to a beautifully big backyard or have access to a park on their street or down the road. So what that means is that we need to provide them with adequate spaces to be active and to play their way. And what's really important is for us to look at where these children live and start looking at the other places. And roads and streets are those other places. If you live in a quite residential road, it makes sense that children can use that road to play.
I'm here so the kids can enjoy a good interaction with other kids in the community and play in the streets and have a good time like we did when we were growing up.
So what we're finding with Play Streets is that there's holistic benefit. So children who get involved get more physically active. Our research shows that the longer a play street is, the more active a child will be.
When I grew up, we were on a quiet street, so we quite often were using our rollerblades, playing roller hockey from one side of the street to the other. So yeah, just seeing the kids out on the street, riding their bikes, scooters, playing tennis, it's really great to see.
I love Play Street because it's fun, you meet new friends. My favourite thing to do is ride around on the bike and chalk drawings.
Well, I like having Nerf gun wars and kicking the ball around.
And creating stuff to take home.
We're also seeing that Play Streets provides an important opportunity for children to develop socially because they're out playing with other children and getting to know their neighbours, which is really important to develop up those long-term relationships. And more holistically still, we're seeing that children get out and they have an opportunity to play their way, to choose what they want to do. So whether that's climbing up a tree or doing some chalk drawing on the road or scooting or riding their bike, it's really child-led play. And this child-led play is so important for them to explore the world around them, to learn about the world around them, to build confidence because they're trying new things and pushing their body. And this all leads to more healthy, more independent children and more resilient children at the end of the day.
Such a lovely video. Love.
Isn't it great?
Literally from the, what is the word, the phrase, mouth of babes.
From the mouth of babes, absolutely right. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's lovely.
And so simple, isn't it? It's not, it isn't about creating anything extraordinary.
Yep. It's just about just getting the kids out there. So while I'm waiting to see if there are any other questions that haven't been answered kind of through our chat today, to keep in contact with keep in the loop with what Play Australia is doing, you can subscribe to their e-newsletter on their website. And sorry, I know that I'm a current subscriber, and so I get all the updates on what Play Australia is up to, which is quite useful. And so even though a lot of the content is potentially targeted at more industry viewers, I know as members, that I know even just as a parent, there's some really interesting information in there and bits and pieces, and kind of keeping up to date on new play initiatives and interesting things that are happening around Australia. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend people seek that out.
We always do try and add in a couple of articles from around and about, and this edition we've actually just put in again about some suggestions for mental health issues for children coming out of lockdown. So yeah, we'll always try and add something in for parents and caregivers.
Excellent. And we'll put the link to that actually in the comments as well. And just a final reminder from Parents Voice, which is that obviously our Fame and Shame Awards are open at the moment. There is a physical activity award in there, which is a good one. So Parents' Choice Physical Activity, which is for the ad that we feel that parents feel best captures or encourages kids to stay active or be active. So previous winners include campaigns by Vic Health to encourage women and young girls to be active. Netball Australia has one more than once. They have a great range of different ads that they've done encouraging girls in particular to be active and stay active in a really positive and fun way. And I think that's, we've spoken about that quite a few times today, about just kind of finding your joy and, you know, don't let physical activity get boring, right? Let it be play.
Absolutely. And I love that word joyful as well. Just, you know, just go out there and just, be joyful.
I agree. I think I've said it a few times, but it does capture the mood the best, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, I think we might leave it there, wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen, and thank you everyone who's watching today or watching in the future, because it will stay up on our platforms and people can catch it later. So thank you very much, and we'll make sure that any of the links to the to play streets and things should be in the comments, but we'll also go out in our next e-newsletter, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for joining us.
And thanks for having me, Alice, and good luck everyone out there. Go outside today and play.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I can tell from Melbourne there's some lovely weather. Hopefully it's replicated in other parts of Australia. You never know, but hopefully the sun is shining wherever you are and you can get out and enjoy some of that lovely spring weather.
Terrific. Bye, everyone.